Let's see what Rico has figured out with our little mushrooms. Rico is at her bench, running small vials of some liquid through an old chemical analysis machine. The whirring of the spinning drum fills the lab with white noise. You weren't sure if she notices you approach. Sleeper, good to see you. She looks up smiling. The project of ours has been keeping me awake the past few cycles. Right now I think I have something. What is it? The drum finishes spinning and Rico lifts a vial, holding it up to the light. This is something I extracted from those club heads you've been bringing me. And according to my analysis, it's a substance totally unique on the Greenway. Look at the small amount of liquid in the vial. Any idea of what it might be? Rico asks, without looking away from the vial. Stabilizer. Rico nods. You weren't the first sleeper to come through here. Perhaps I should have mentioned that earlier. Rico's tone suddenly drops, changing the atmosphere in the lab immediately. I just thought... He pauses, thinking very carefully of how to continue. I just wanted you to trust us. What do you mean? She sighs. It came through a fair few cycles ago. Found them wandering in the broken section near the gap. Members who brought them in had never seen one of you before. Were terrified of this strange person wandering in from open vacuum. Celeste! What's the dragon doing crashing into another dragon? What the heck? Hello? Thanks for bringing your people on by. Hello. If y'all don't know that dragoness named Celeste, you should fix that. Check them out. Play all sorts of fun games like Celeste, their namescape, Rain World. Big fan of Rain World, personally. Various multiplayer shenanigans on the streamer Saturday. Whole lot of fun stuff over at Celeste's channel, and a wonderful person to hang out with. Celeste! I hope you had fun watching. Certainly curious, and we'll have to go back and check to see what progress you have made. But I know streaming is hard work. So if you need to raid and run, that is no scale off of my tail. At the very least, I implore you, stand up, wiggle around, leave a piss, take a water. Probably grab the water from someplace different than you piss. Like, that would be my recommendation. I like the nice, cool filtered stuff, but like, you do you. And it really gets me pretty tired. No problem. I hope you have some wonderful, rejuvenating eats. And thanks for bringing your people on by. Yeah. Here, Celeste. You can take my blankie and get curl up all snug. There you go. If you are arriving here for the first time and don't know me, I'm Dreki Ormer, Draconic Serpent. The best dragon, or simply Worm on the internet. We are playing Citizen Sleeper, and we are pretty far into it. So if you're familiar with this game, please don't spoil anything. If you're unfamiliar, it's pretty nice. It's a lot of interesting characters and stories. A lot of things to interact with. I'm really liking the dice system it's got. It's got some fun questions it's tackling as a person who ran away from corporate indentured servitude and is dying unless I get medicine to keep my organs from falling apart. So I'm sure that's not any way relatable to real life situations. Not at all. In this essay, I will... Anyway, back to getting our mushrooms analyzed. She sighs. He came through a fair few cycles ago. We found them wandering in the broken section near the gap. The members who brought them in had never seen one of you before. They were terrified of this strange person wandering in from open vacuum. They were quieter than you and damaged. We did our best to patch them up and welcome them to the commune. I only really spoke to them once while I was working on their wounds, along with a couple of system engineers. He looks nervously at you. Never seen a body like that before. Took some readings, samples. Samples? You have to understand, I was curious. I didn't know what I was looking at. Just took a little of the damaged material, less than a thumbnail. She shifts her weight to her crutch. Next cycle they were gone. Took a little food and hiked up towards the wild margins, where the greenway meets the wastes. Someone saw them in the distance, but that was it. They disappeared into the overgrowth. She sits down heavily, vial in her hand. I saw you. I wanted things to be different. I wanted to keep you here, rather than let you disappear into wherever they ended up. She smiles to herself. Yes, I wanted to Yes, I wanted to understand this place better, but I also wanted to help you. Is that somehow both my wishes have come true at once? He holds out a hand with the vial. Also known as like, oh, thank you. There we go. Blankies for everyone. You get a blankie, and you get a blankie. This is for you. You take the stabilizer, a glass cold and smooth in your palm. How? Those club head caps made it for you. Or at least, who or whatever made those club heads. She starts to clear her bench. It was right there, contained in their tissue. I only had to extract it. Imagine you understand how incredible that is. I learned enough from that sleeper to know that your body, your brain, runs on some exotic technology. Exotic technology that has a time limit built in. Somehow, the Greenway knows this too. It understands your physiology much better than I ever could. It knows how to treat you. Just like that miraculous antidote that sprung up from the mold. So too has this sprung up from your presence here. The Greenway is speaking to you. It is welcoming you. She looks up. I know it sounds crazy, and I know it must be true. Here's the evidence. What I also know is it no longer is speaking to me. Even after decades here, I've never seen this kind of response. Not since the antidote so many cycles ago. She smiles. I'm gonna make you a deal. Take this child. They're rolling it. No, don't let them roll away. Oh man, they fell out. All right, let me get you a different child. That one, you know what? We'll just disregard as. Yellow slup. Probably gonna grow into a monk. You bring me as many club heads as you like. I'll extract the stabilizer and give it to you freely. In exchange, give me these Dreki drinks. I'm addicted to these delicious Dreki drinks. But you have to tell me what the Greenway says. You have to speak with it, to dig into it, to find what being is at the center of it. I've traveled as far as I can. I need you to do the rest. Can you do that? Yeah, actually I already have this seed from examining it. Rico sighs with relief and deflates into her chair. Thank you. I'm sorry for the other sleeper. Really, I am. Sorry I couldn't have done more. But I'm so glad I met you. She smiles. You're welcome here anytime. Rico falls silent. He looks smaller now, more fragile. You realize how old she must be to have seen the collapse firsthand. You idle a little in the lab, in case she asks for anything else, but she remains silent. So you drift back into the tunnel. Thoughts of that other sleeper, where they ended up, weighing on your mind. Nice. Only way to understand what the gardener gave you is to grow it. Rico's excited by this prospect. Damn, we got a bunch of cycles. Okay, so every 2 club heads, we get a free one. Nice. That means we're gonna be getting a lot of mushrooms. What another sleeper is? I think they're the dead. There's one that died earlier. I do wonder if it's something where if I did the events in a different order, I could have saved them. Nice. The atmosphere in the airlock is euphoric. You and Bliss keep grinning at each other like idiots. Exhausted, blinded, sore, and aching idiots. Sleeper, that was incredible. She punches you on the arm. I never thought we were gonna make it. These idiots tangled the whole thing up like nothing I've ever seen. We had a good team. Bliss smiles a winning smile. One hooked up to his Nikita's ship mine? Yeah, that one. As the lock's inner door clunks open, Moritz gives a rare whoop. He looks exhausted too, and for good reason. Moritz has been the one ferrying tools and parts back and forth from the ship. His tired smile tells you he's glad it's done. Sleeper, Bliss. He shakes his head. Impressive. When I saw that ship come in, I thought there was no way. Why, thank you, Moritz. She winks. For believing in us. Moritz rolls his eyes. You know what I mean. Take the compliment. He shoulders some of the gear that came back in with you. And Bliss... He shoulders some of the gear that came back in with you and Bliss. And heads to the racks to stow it. Bliss turns to you. I think you should be the one to do the honors. She nods to the ragged-looking console that Moritz assembled. I don't want to jinx it. She smiles, but you can see she is genuinely nervous. Take the console. Glide over to the console and check the screen. Takes a second to see what you're doing through the flickering cracked display, but after a moment, you see the accounts. There it is. Almost 1,000 cryo sat in the Bays transfer account. Well, Bliss calls. Have we been screwed again? It's there. Bliss kicks off from the floor and spins up into the bay, shouting as she does. The noise takes Moritz by surprise, and he knocks a rack of parts, scattering handfuls of metal fixings across the bay. The sight is something, glinting steel catching in the work lights like glitter. Sorry, says Bliss, grinning when she comes back down. I needed that. She kicks off and joins you at the terminal. Moritz even managed to sell that produce. Made a tidy profit. Eventually. She laughs. Here. He loads a stack of blank chits into the terminal and transfers a chunk of the cryo to them. Here's your cut. Bliss hands you the chits. Thank you for believing in this place. She looks away and smiles. Even when I couldn't. When you first met me, I was on the edge of giving up. All it would have taken was one more push. Now, oh, this place is sparkling again. Work is coming in, funds in the accounts. Even Moritz has a spring in his step. You both look over at him, happily racking up tools. That's because of you. She punches you on the arm. He likes you. He's a good kid. He isn't bad, is he? She leans in closer. You know he came here looking to rob the place? I gave him a job instead. She laughs. Don't tell him I told you that. I just thought it might help you understand the kid. Moritz turns to look at you. Both Bliss and you awkwardly wave. Maybe it's time to change the subject. You gonna be okay? Me? Always. She looks away. From here on out, it's gonna be a little easier. I'm gonna look for some component contracts. Stuff that will keep us inside the bay, not out in the black. No need to risk our necks if we don't need to. You wanna crash out? That's fine. There'll always be work for here when you need it. I'll be back. She smiles, and then, out of nowhere, quickly gives you a hug. She steps back and glances around reflexively. Take care, she says softly. You too. You turn to leave. And Sleeper? Yes? She smiles. Don't spend all that all once. Nice. Ooh. Okay, so we can just do like... Okay, so we have regular work, but also something's gonna fire. Interesting. interesting. It's very interesting. I'm also concerned that we have so much money, to be honest. Ooh. We got lucky and got a ship mine fragment instead of scrap components. That's gonna pay off down the line. What if we encounter another sleeper? I do feel like I'm hoarding skill points right now, but... Okay, we can take the scrap here. Do this for flotilla access. Okay, hull supplies, damage control. So it's either that or the arrow one. Okay, we'll get interface to +2 then. This is a Shattered Ring World. Not a ring world, but a ring station, yes. Basically. It got broken up a bit. The corporation that used to own it, stuff happened and the Union took control. All right, let's eat. Yeah, it's called the Eye for that reason. The center area is weightless. So that's usually where ships dock. So you take the elevator up to the Eye. You know, this is where the ship docked, and then you take the elevator back down. That's pretty cool. All right. We need to eat. We need to be a citizen eater, but not literally, because we got mushrooms to consume. Time to order some fungus, baby. Okay. I think we can get another skill point if we finish building this. But I have 2 6s. So, what I want to do is use 1 to harvest. Nice. Now, I believe we need to plant... Yeah, we need 3 more spores. Let's get some spores. We're gonna Lancer campaign in a setting like this. Nice! Never really got around to trying Lancer. Alright. You're just having a glut. Alright. Luckily, we have enough to start this timer now, so that's nice. Because it does take 4 cycles to tick. Spores. Exactly. Oh, excuse me. Alright. We're gonna be a citizen eaper. Okay, we'll use our high rolls to progress over here. Mostly because +2 means we can hit 100% positive very easily. Actually, we need to go to data view. Oh, hell yeah. 2 to 6, baby. 1 cycle. It's too easy. Pragmatic captain. Okay, so let's talk to Peak first. Yeah, I DM'd an Evangelion tabletop for a while. Basically, it was a modified from Dark Heresy's rule set to run Evangelion. It was fun. It was interesting. Big fan of having puzzle bosses kind of thing. Yeah, the way I ran the setting was there were like 3 different sets of angels effectively happening all at the same time. And like each of the nerve bases were responsible for different places. So we were running Nerve Berlin, which was responsible for covering Europe and, you know, that whole sort of sphere. There was the Americas, and then there's your standard, the Japan branch. But like lore-wise, so like, cause like in the original Evangelion, you had your Christian mythology stuff. So I left that. You have Adam, and then the Americas had Greco-themed stuff, and then Europe had Nordic-themed stuff. So like a lot of the quote-unquote angels were derived or inspired by various Nordic gods in some fashion. If my players had ever thought to look up the names of the angels, they could have gotten an idea of what was going on, but I don't think anyone ever clocked on to that. Deep lore wise, it was because in Evangelion you have the whole instrumentality and like Adam, the alien thing. I was running it like it was sort of like extra dimensional entities coming to our reality, and like the way I thought of it is like the cores of the Evangelions of the angels are sort of like an existential spacesuit, and it's sort of like a physical manifestation of your ability to project your will upon reality. So like you can go into a world where physics behaves differently and still be alive and not immediately explode into water or catch fire into leaves or whatever weirdness that would happen to you. And so like Odin, Zeus, and Adam were all sort of like coincidentally all ended up on Earth at roughly the same time, and we're kind of in a cold war over control over it. And like it was sort of a like, if we all fight each other, this place gets torn apart. So we're gonna use proxies. And so like throughout history, they've just kind of been controlling various nations, and it's sort of like coming to a tipping point with the robots and such. Zeus, being Zeus, is just kind of fucking around and having fun, doesn't give a shit. Adam legitimately is trying to terraform it for his creatures. And then Odin was a quote-unquote scientist. I say quote-unquote, not an ethical or good person. Yeah, so I don't know. I had a lot of fun writing like lore and backstory stuff. A lot of it which never ended up getting used, but you know what? It made everything make sense to me. But it's just, I don't know. It's just so much work to DM, and I'm the kind that over planned, over prepared for stuff. So it's just, I don't know. I don't really got the time for it these days. Anyway, back to the video game that I'm playing. As you walk into the bay of the Climbing Briar, the familiarity of the space overcomes any trepidation. Feels good to be back. The return feels earned, especially after all the work it took to figure out a route through the flotilla's jumble of ships. It might lead you to this blue streak. You see Ash and Peak immediately. sitting at the back of the bay, deep in conversation. Your closeness causes you to stop, suddenly aware that you might be interrupting something private. Peak is explaining something forcefully as Esh stares out into the middle distance, hunched over. She suddenly spots you. Sleeper! Esh nods. Didn't quite turn out how we hoped, right? Peak stops and glances between the two of you, the tension rising. I'm sorry. Esh waves your apology away. None of that! We all had our part to play. Peak looks nervous. It has worked out. They appeal to you. Oh, they appeal to you too. The Flux event knocked out the entire Cordon system offline. The Till event is free and Avalanche are backing off. Flux event? It's the refugees are calling it, Peak explains. Apparently that's what they called it when it started happening around Ember. What exactly is happening? Kinda knocked me out. Kinda hard to tell. Some kind of disruptive wave that only affects electrical systems. Peak chips in. Typically, systems are screened against radiation and interference. This seems to be dulled, not stopped by those defenses. Crisis continues, Ash sighs. Cordon may be down. This brings a whole other set of problems. Yeah, I'll say. I'm like half robot. That fucked me up. You should tell them, Ash. Peak glances at her. Please. Ash doesn't respond. Tell you what? You stare at her back, waiting for a response. Please, Ash. Haven't they shown they can be trusted? Peak nods towards you. Ash turns, her arms folded tightly against her chest. She goes to start, and then stops. You can see the anger in her eyes. You realize it's not directed at you or at anyone else. She's angry with herself. I brought weapons to the flotilla. She pauses. And now Havanenge has them. Suddenly remember the sleek crates that were tucked into the bay, marked with the yellow sigil. The ones Esh told you were just supplies. Havanenge? They seized them from me when they caught the Briar. Esh kicks at the floor. Shitheads. We hope that they will keep them safe, but given recent events, Pete glances nervously at Ash. We aren't sure that Havanenge is in the right place for weapons to be. We put it past them to use them to take the Cordon back by force. Ash glares. You're scared and losing control. My experience, that's when institutions do dangerous things. If that's true, we can't do anything about it right now, Ash. Short of marching into the yards at the under end of the eye and taking them back. Ash looks like that is exactly what she would like to do. Peak smiles nervously. Plus, you have other things to be getting on with. Want to understand the flux, Sleeper? To study it. Peak's eyes light up. This thing is changing the entire system, causing problems across the inner system, driving refugees off Ember's moons, and now it's here. If we don't do something about it, Peak pauses. Problem for all of us. I can see more immediate problems. Ash sniffs. Peak ignores her. I've been looking at the networks. When the flux event hits, it changed things. It shuffled systems, corrupted nodes, broke open data stores. They take out a slate and show you a flickering polygon. And these flux nodes have appeared near the epicenter of the event, but I can't get access. You, however, saw the way you worked with data when we were preparing for the run. I think you can get into these things. Once you find a flux node, bring me anything you can extract. They come and go, but those can be found in the barely functioning networks of the wastes. Peak pauses. Start there. Perhaps together we can find something that might point us to what the flux is and where it comes from. Okay. They smile. I knew you'd agree. Ash is looking indignant. Don't waste too much time chasing ghosts, Sleeper. There are people on this flotilla that need any help they can get. I'm sure Sleeper can do both, Ash. Peak smiles at you. I'll see you here when you have something. Good hunting. And they wave you out as Ash stomps away to make plans of her own. Tika! Hello, hello, hello. What is that wonderful kobold doing there? I don't have a Tika button. Another person I need to fix for... But if you like all things bold and boldly going wherever an artist can go, check out Tika. They are a wonderful, beautiful artiste. Majestic kobold. Going bold wherever they boldly go. Right. I hope you're having a good day, Tika. It's always nice seeing you around. Having pancakes for breakfast. Delicious! I haven't had pancakes in forever. I should get a waffle iron so I can do that. Especially because I know a place with some banger honey. Honey? Maple syrup. They put the maple syrup in aged bourbon barrels. Oh, it tastes so... It's not alcoholic, but it tastes so good. It's so expensive to order, though. I can't believe you keep throwing slug pups at me, Sorrel. This is just rude, okay? First the monk, and now a survivor slup. I'm gonna start eating them if you keep this up. I am a lizard. I am ferocious lizard. I am now unlord. Hi, Cole. You're a kobold. Meet Tika, also a kobold. Making you a dad by force. You have been assigned a child. Yeah, it's a wonderful blankie. I could take it off too. Yep. Ah. Yes, it's made by the wonderful Velvi. They do. Velvi, believe it or not, also a kobold. It's true. It's just kobolds all the way down, y'all. You didn't know that. Secretly piloting you. There's a kobold inside you right now. And you didn't even know it. Now I'm imagining like the movie Inside, but it's just a whole bunch of tiny kobolds yipping. Ah, they found us out! Ah! Instead of emotions, you've got like the moss kobold that sorts things by taste, and then you got another moss kobold that sorts them by color. And then you've got the shiny kobold that likes things that are shiny. You were mech chatting earlier, so now I'm imagining a giant dragon mecha piloted by kobolds. Yeah, exactly. Oh, what was it? There was a thing I remember in some other chat thinking of. I can't remember what they said, but it made me think of like kobolds that have passed. And so like part of the funeral rites, what they'll do is like grind up the bones and mix them with like a clay or a stone, and then fire it with like their patron dragon fires it with their breath to imbue it with magic. And then those fired clay are put together into like a kobold golem, and it's still infused with their spirit, so they can continue, like the most honored kobolds can continue like existing in the commune even after their mortal flesh has passed on as kobold golems. But anyway, less kobolds, but more robots. Kobolds are known to reincarnate too. That's true. Bulbs and kobolds. Kobolds. Oh, bulbs. Robobulbs and kobolds. Exactly. You get it. Someone told me I should be thanking you. The voice comes from behind you, cutting through the chaos of the crowded cavernous bay. You freeze. Cavern? Cavern mentioned? Kobolds? Are there kobolds? Don't be afraid now. I've been hunting you, sure, but for all the best reasons. You turn to see bright eyes set in a rough face, framed in rusted metal. Why is him's head's in a cage? Huh? Is that supposed to be a helmet? Just wear a helmet. Huh? Soul. Actually, it looks like he's again. Soul. He holds out his hand, the other clamped firmly around a knotted wooden cane. Shake his hand. He grips you firmly with a heavy, calloused hand. Forgive me. As soon as I saw you, I knew who you were. Soul puts a hand on your shoulder. I've been told the Sleeper was part of the crew that organized the supply run attempt approached several cycles ago. He pauses. A brave plan. No one was more sorry than me to see it thwarted. Walk with me, Sleeper. Soul sits off through the bay, his partial suit hissing and creaking as it helps carry him through the busy crowds. You notice people making way for you and Soul, standing back and letting you pass. As you pass down the corridors, you see people everywhere, resting against the walls, squatting on crates, cooking, sleeping, watching you pass. The atmosphere is overwhelming. Food's been scarce these past cycles, Soul admits. We do what we can with the stores and what we can grow on the ships, but it's a downward slope. Soul leads you out of the larger bay onto a corridor lined with storage rooms. They're now serving as dorms. You see someone filling a metal container from a standpipe, the water eventually dribbling out. Soul nods to the person as he passes. They don't look up. Their eyes are sunken and dark. Just a little further now. Soul leads you into a freight elevator and whistles to some unseen operator to start it up. The elevator jerks to life. Evidence we're expecting an exodus from the flotilla. The flux event has put a stop to that. Soul stretches. Some have crossed to the eye, but many just to gather salvage or score a hot meal. The pressure on our supplies is starting to shrink, cycle by cycle, but not like I hoped. With the flux reaching all the way out here, people are starting to understand that our journey might not be over. Soul stares grimly ahead. As Soul talks, as you pass through the layers of the ship, you see people on every level, supplies crammed into every available space. The ship itself looks like it's bending under the strain, its hull creaking, its wall panels pulled away for scrap, leaving the raw frames beneath. Suddenly, the freight elevator screeches to a halt. Soul leads you slowly out onto a wide room of chairs and terminals, ringed by a mezzanine, with a glass roof above showing the distant hub, a far curve of the eye beyond. People at the terminals nod to him as he enters. This is your ship? Soul nods. That's right. Pilgrim seed is mine to care for. He leads you up to a railed platform at the center of the room and stops. She chose me, so to speak. Well, at least her crew did, and I do my best to serve them. Soul looks around the bridge of the ship, a pained expression on his face. I'll admit that the responsibility isn't one that suits me, but we rarely get to choose such things. He glances back at you. But you, Sleeper, from what I understand, you chose to try to help us here. Is that right? I tried. I did my best. Soul nods silently. But I have to ask you, Sleeper, why are you here now? Soul leans back. You feel his eyes on you, assessing you. I still want to help. Soul nods. I've got to be honest with you, Sleeper. Not quite buying it. He smiles. Not trying to make judgments on your character. And in my experience, people do things for more reasons than just being helpful. I have thousands of people here on the Pilgrim Seed, Sleeper. There's thousands more out in the flotilla. He leans against a railing. A lot of them are looking for me to provide some future for them. Some path out of this dead end we've got to. And this cycle, this very cycle, the thing we've been running away from, it just caught up with us. These people are scared, Sleeper. They're looking to me for reassurance. And then, on the same cycle, someone tells me they see you bored. Sleeper. The same Sleeper they reckon. I wanted so strongly to send a ship past the cordon to see us. Soul scratches at his beard. So the first thing I wanted to do was thank you for that. For your interest. He pauses. But the second thing I wanted to find out is what you want from us. Soul's suit hisses and creaks. I think that's fair, don't you? Soul takes a deep breath. So what is it? Tell me about the flux. Someone at the terminal calls out to Soul. He shouts some orders back. He turns to you. Apologies. He smiles that half smile. I tell you what, Sleeper. Let's you and me make a deal. You want information. I understand that. But I have a list of needs longer than the rim of the eye itself. He grimaces. So you do some things for me, and we can talk about what's been happening in this system. Now I'll answer all your questions, and then some. Pronounce flotilla like it's tortilla, and I don't know if I think it's correct. Flotilla? Well, the thing is that tortilla is coming from Spanish, where the LL is like the Y noise, but flotilla is a quote-unquote normal English word. And so double L's are l. Then again, I could be speaking out my cloaca because I'm not a linguist. Don't take my word on how to say any words. I have taught myself to say things wrong as a bit, as a joke, to amuse everyone and myself, but also it's very frustrating. Like, I can't say cinnamon unless I like think really hard. They just be like cinnamon, cinnamon, cinnamon. I don't know why I did this to myself. I just did. It's like flotilla is also from Spanish. Well, everything's fucked. All right, nothing makes sense. Language is just meat flappy noises we generally agree mean the same thing, okay? And I disagree to agree that we agree to disagree on flotilla on a tortilla a flotilla of tortillas floating in the tea of space. Seems pretty ill to me. Cinnamon. I don't remember that Digimon. Not right there. That was a cinnamon. That one. I may be the captain of the Pilgrim Seed. It certainly is the biggest ship in the flotilla. But I'm not the only captain here. We have ships from each of the moons. From Ember's Hearth. There's others from Ember's Song, Ember's Step. And Ember's really long name, but it's not just Ember. Ember's Hearth, Ember's Song, Ember's Step, and I can't believe it's not Ember. Moons have been at each other's throats, Sleeper. Oh, with the pressure of the flux. Bad blood from the old days. This weird snake that just got thrown at me and made squeaky noises. We aren't exactly all in alignment. Thurgal, stop smelling the snake flowers. Alright? Stop it. They don't stink, okay? They're floral, they're majestic, They're beautiful. Anyone would be happy to have a bouquet of snake plants, okay? What I need is a way to stop things escalating. For the crews on these ships and their captains to feel happy and comfortable enough to forget old rivalries and past crimes. He flinches at something. Those from Ember's Step, well, they've always been proud. But that pride seems to be a barrier to compromise right now. The last set of supplies I sent their way, they refused. Meanwhile, I have a supply shuttle at the docking axis the Emperor Song ships gathers at. They've taken far too many cycles to unload. Maybe if you're heading that way, you can look in on them. I'm no politician, Sleeper. But if I don't... Soul stops. He leans back and flexes, his suit screeching. He groans a little. You see the weight of the flotilla sitting on his shoulders. The suit, the only thing keeping him vertical underneath all that pressure. Look, you'll see for yourself if you go. Meet the others, Sleeper. See what they need. Keep them aligned. He speaks through the pain, his voice clipped. Are you okay? Not really. As long as this thing holds, he grimaces. I hope. Soul grits his teeth. You are what you appear to be, Sleeper. He smiles, his half smile despite the pain. Because I'm not sure I can take any more bad news. Plus, plenty to be done here on the Pilgrim Seed too. You have a moment to pitch in. Never enough around here. That's something I've learned the hard way. Soul settles onto his cane, the pain visibly receding. Alright. I have 1,000 things to attend to now, Sleeper. So you have to find your own way out. And with that, Soul sits at his terminal. Slow and careful movements. You head back down the freight elevator. As you do, you see again the layers and layers of chaotic life this vessel and all the vessels of the flotilla hold. New drive discovered. Fluxed node. Just a whole bunch of lines, baby. Okay. Oh wow, it's still going. Is it gonna go like off screen? I think someone has a cat on their keyboard. Okay. And it just starts again. Okay.